No other NFL teams have played every year since 1932. Just the Packers and the Lions. The 170th meeting between the rivals today in Detroit. Both coming in 1-1, and the Packers have dominated this series, and especially of late. Won 8 of the last 12, or 8 of 12 since Ford Field opened. And Mike McCarthy, 14-2 in his career against the Lions. Really an incredible number. Jim Caldwell, former coach of the Indianapolis Colts, has never coached against the Packers until today. The Packers won the toss and deferred, which is interesting in its own right. Jeremy Ross, he will take it out from 5 yards in. And Ross is going to be tackled up around the 16-yard line by Jared Bush. And here is Matthew Stafford, who has not beaten the Packers but one time.
And Matthew Stafford very excited about this new offense under Jim Caldwell, his head coach, and Joe Lombardi, who came over from New Orleans as the offensive coordinator. They've worked a lot on his fundamentals, his feet. They think it's going to pay great dividends on the field.
It'll be interesting to see this offense. It'll look a lot like the Saints, because Joe Lombardi coming over from New Orleans, the new offensive coordinator. Here is Reggie Bush, who darts across the 20, and he's up to the 24. Good start for the Lions.
When you look at this offensive line, Reef, in his second year at the left tackle, where they struggle right now is out at the right tackle position. Garrett Reynolds filling in their third right tackle that they've used this year. You see Reggie Bush in the backfield, and the great one, Calvin Johnson, alongside with Golden Tate. They think the best compliment they've had in Calvin Johnson's time here in Detroit.
They're going to give to Bell, who just came in the game at back. And Joy Bell powering forward, and his momentum should bring him to a first down. Lions wanted to get the run more involved this week, and they'll do it against this Packers defense.
It's a little bit of a different look for this defense. Not a misprint there. We only have 2 defensive linemen, Guyan and Daniels, but they play 5 linebackers. Peppers, who came over from Chicago, the great Clay Matthews lead this bunch. And in the back end, it's Tramon Williams and Sam Shields that are going to have their hands full with Calvin Johnson and company.
The Lions rotate their packages a lot like the Saints did. They bring in new personnel just about every play. Here's Bush. They get up to the 30. It's a gain of 2 for Mike Daniels, who had a great game last week. Makes the stop. Well, it's not often you see a 2-5 defense, John, that's for sure. But I think at this point, with the Packers last year where they were, they're trying to do anything they can to get their defense to kind of match their offensive output.
And really what they're trying to do is get their best players on the field. They're loaded at the linebacker position. They want to utilize all these guys. People are calling it a 4-3. Essentially what it is 2 defensive linemen, and as we showed you, 5 linebackers on the field.
On second down and 8, and it's incomplete. Try to get it to Fourier. This Lions team has 3 tight ends that they will use. Fourier is the tallest. It's 6'7". It'll bring him a 3rd and long. Lions, a team that looked ultra impressive in their week 1 win over the Giants, and then did not look good against Carolina. Turnovers, missed field goals. As John said in the open, kind of looked like the old Lions a little bit. This will be a big test on a 3rd and 8. Clinton Ha-Ha-Dix, the rookie for Green Bay, number 21, now in at safety. They need 8. Blitz coming. Stafford in trouble. Lets it fly, incomplete. Packers got some pressure and an annoyed Stafford, and they'll have to punt.
Well, with all those linebackers, they can bring pressure from a lot of areas. It's Mike Neal, who's working against the left guard, Rob Sims, who's going to get up and get Matthew Stafford to step up into the pocket, enough pressure to affect the throw on 3rd down. We saw that Stafford's been near flawless this season on 3rd down up to that point.
This is Randall Cobb back to return. 3 punt returns, or 2 punt return touchdowns in his career. Reverses field. Looking for something, and he makes something out of nothing. Cobb still going across the 35 to the 37. A 55-yard punt that looked like there was nowhere to run, and he returns it 22 yards. And when we come back, Aaron Rodgers, who has dominated Detroit, takes the field for the first time.
This game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Without a heart, it's just a machine.
First possession for Green Bay after a great punt return by Randall Cobb. It's a 1st and 10 at the 37. And Eddie Lacy has his first carry, and Lacy is denied the 40. Hit down by Jason Jones. Aaron Rodgers, flat-out domination against the Lions, and that one loss was a game that he got concussed in the second quarter and didn't finish.
Well, Aaron Rodgers has made it tough on everybody he's played against in this league. But when he plays the Detroit Lions, he takes it to another level.
2nd and 7, here's Lacy, and he fumbled the football. It's picked up by the Lions. Don Carey to the 10, cuts back, and he's in. Touchdown, Detroit.
It's going to be Nick Fairley right there. Watch him get his right arm, that big right arm on the football. The ball comes out. Don Carey playing the nickel position for these Detroit Lions. Their fourth nickelback this year. Scoops the ball and scores.
Well, we had come in talking about turnovers killing Detroit, and it helps them right off the bat with Carey picking up the fumble and rumbling in for 39 yards out. The extra point is good. What a start for the Lions. After a great punt return, Packers turn it over in Detroit with the early 7-0 lead over Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay as Lacy coughed it up.
This game is sponsored by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly.
Well, it's not often, John, that you see a fumble literally just sitting on the ground for a guy to pick up and run in, but that's what it was. The ball sitting there after Lacy fumbled it, and Carey just came in, scooped it, and ran it in. They officially mark it as a 40-yard fumble return, and it's 7-0 Lions off the second career fumble by Lacy. Kicks out of bounds. Packers will start on their own 20.
And Kevin, you take another look. It's going to be Nick Fairley, who's been dominant this year for the Detroit Lions. It's going to take Josh Sitton, the Pro Bowl guard, and he really backs, I think, the center, Corey Linsley, back into Eddie Lacy. Ball comes out, like you said, just sitting there, and here comes Don Carey. A safety playing the nickel position. They're playing a big nickel today to stop that run, and Don Carey takes it to the end zone.
And Carey playing in his first game of the year. He missed the first 2 games with a hamstring injury. So a great start for the Lions. On first down, this is James Starks. So Lacy not in the game after fumbling, and Starks takes it for a 4-yard gain. Green Bay gets a little boost. They get their right tackle, Brian Bulaga, back in the lineup today.
And that will help their pass protection out a lot. They've struggled at that right tackle position. Bakhtiari on the left side. You see Eddie Lacy, Kuhn, Jordy Nelson, the league's leading receiver coming into week 2.
On 2nd and 6, they're going to give a draw to Starks, and Levy's going to make the tackle. And a 3rd and short coming up.
And take a look at the Detroit Lions defense. It all starts out front, particularly in the middle, with Fairley and Sue playing dominant football. Tulloch and Levy, formidable linebacker group. In the back end, they've been injured, but holding it together, keeping the ball in front of them.
On 3rd and 3, Rodgers going to loft it up, and it's incomplete. Looked like it was in and out of the hands of Randall Cobb. Danny Gore, who was just signed 2 days ago, was there on the cover. The Lions have 2 people in the secondary, John, who literally just got here. That's how banged up they are.
Well, Danny Gore, you arrive on Wednesday, you're getting a wheel route by Aaron Rodgers thrown at you, but he held up well. He's a guy who's been with Terrell Austin, the defensive coordinator in Baltimore. They're comfortable with his familiarity with the scheme, and they're throwing him right out there. Good coverage on the first 3rd down.
Tim Mastay will punt it away for Green Bay. And we get a flag. Some motion on the Packers, and Carl Cheffers in his 15th season as our referee.
False start, number 86, offense. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
It's on Brandon Bosick. This Packers squad has not started fast this year. And Mike McCarthy said, we have got to start fast in Detroit. And obviously that has not happened. Fumble on the first possession, return for a touchdown, and now a punt. Pressure, but Mastad gets it away. Good angling kick, and it's out of bounds. And actually, that'll help the Lions. They will take over on their own 30. So Eddie Lacy dejected after his fumble led to a Lions score. Detroit up 7-0 here in the first.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Pizza Hut Bacon and Cheese Stuffed Crust, by AT&T, mobilizing your world, and by your next truck, Ford F-150.
High atop the Ambassador Bridge, the Detroit River, Motor City. Lions motoring to start with a defensive touchdown, up 7-0. Here's their second offensive possession. They're going to throw, and they come to Fourier, the tight end, and he's dragged down after a short game. As we check in for the first time today with Pam Oliver.
Well, Kevin, it is what we thought it would be, a very intense game. In fact, coming into it, Calvin Johnson said, I do not like them. I want to smash them. There's some degree of hate. Teammate Nick Fairley told me, Pam, it's going to be a bloodbath. He's already been a disruption. I talked to Sam Shields today before the game. He's a cornerback for Green Bay. He said, this is a must-win for us. The word everybody forgot to use, though, Kevin, is chippy, which this game is bound to be.
It seems that way already, especially with those words, and it's week 3, and you feel it's an important game. As Bush takes it across the 35. It'll bring up a 3rd and 5 for these Lions. Talked to Joe Lombardi, the offensive coordinator for Detroit, and John, you just got the sense that he was kind of remiss for not getting to the run game a little bit more against Carolina last week.
Yeah, he feels like it's important, particularly with you got guys like Clay Matthews who can come after. Remember, their right tackle, on their 3rd right tackle, Garrett Reynolds. You've got guys like Peppers, Clay Matthews. They wanted to establish the run early.
Third down and 5. Stafford sidearm incomplete. Looking for Eric Ebron, the rookie tight end. And the Lions go 3 and out. So the Lions have had a couple of offensive possessions and not much doing for them so far. And they'll punt it away to Randall Cobb with a splendid punt return, his first time of 22 yards. Sam Martin, you get a flag here, I believe, and Cobb's going to catch this one. Let's see, we get a penalty here. Well, the league, so much talk with all the penalties.
Illegal shift, offense. 2 players were moving before the snap. That penalty will be added to the end of the play. 1st down.
Well, there's so much talk with all the penalties in the league, and Carl Cheffers' crew is the crew right now that leads the league in giving penalties, and that is interesting. There's the number. Mike Pereira is in LA. Mike, what do you make of this? I know it's only 2 games. What do you make of that? I'm not sure if Mike can hear us right now, so we'll get back to him in a second. Check on that. That's a lot of penalties right there. Again, it's 2 weeks, but it bears watching in this NFL where penalties have become a headline. So here are the Packers now on their 3rd possession. They haven't done anything so far. 1 first down and a fumble, and Lacy is back in. And Eddie Lacy has a good-looking run on 1st down as he's going to get it up to the 28-yard line. Eddie Lacy coming into today had only gained 77 yards on the ground, so the Rookie of the Year yet to get going. Rodgers going to sling it to Cobb far side. He's got a Packer 1st down. Darius Slay on the coverage.
The interesting thing here early, we've seen Green Bay run the football up, but just by the shell of this Detroit Lions defense, they're making sure that Jordy Nelson's not going to wreck this game for them today. They've got a safety over the top almost every single play. It's going to have to be Cobb. It's going to have to be the tight end. Somebody else other than Jordy Nelson is what they're trying to say to Green Bay.
Here's Lacy, and Lacy is bottled up after a short game. Good pursuit. Stephen Tulloch, number 55, was there first.
Kevin, what the Detroit Lions have going for them, number 2 ranked rush defense in the league. They're so good up front that they don't have to dedicate that 8th guy in the box to stop the run. They can do it with the front. They've been extremely effective of doing that this season, and they have been here so today.
Second and 10 for Rodgers. And he's going far side, incomplete. Aaron Rodgers that time looking for Jared Boykin. And Darius Slay was there again.
Boykin didn't have as many snaps last week against the New York Jets. It was the rookie Devontae Adams that really entered the picture, but Boykin getting the call today.
John, the Lions are so depleted. Bentley was their original nickel. Lawson was the next nickel pickup. Vaughn is another cornerback, all hurt, and Ihedebo is supposed to be their starting safety. That's what they're dealing with against the Packers. They are great on third down, but this is a 3rd and 10. Four-man rush, now a 5-man rush, and Rodgers goes down. Stephen Tulloch came on a delayed blitz and takes down Rodgers.
Well, Eddie Lacy, watch Tulloch right here. He's got Eddie Lacy. Eddie Lacy's going to give some help to the 2 defensive ends rushing. That leaves the hole wide open for Tulloch, who kind of weaves his way through the middle. Good coverage down the field. Tulloch on the delayed blitz brings down Aaron Rodgers.
And so the Detroit defense up to the task early on. And Mastay will punt it away. A chance for Ross here. Breaks 1 tackle. Without the next 3, and he's taken down by Devon House. And so the Lions will take it over. So far, this Lions defense up to the task. They've got a defensive touchdown, too. Packers offense has done nothing in their first 3 possessions. Lions scoring on a fumble return by Don Carey. Now it's the Lions on their 3rd possession. They get to Ross. What a spin! Up to the 40, and a nice gain by Ross, going to pick up about 8 yards. You know, John, it's interesting. This Lions team had Jim Schwartz as we look at the replay, and Schwartz comes in and really kind of resurrects this franchise and puts them back on the map. But he couldn't take it to that next level and enter Jim Caldwell.
And I think Jim Schwartz, he did a heck of a job, like you said, resurrecting this place. But you look at his personality. It's volatile. They played very volatile. They were up, they were down. Jim Caldwell, he's a flatliner. He's a disciplinarian, and that's what they need here in Detroit.
Here's Theo Riddick, who they really like, and he's got a Lions first down. Second-year man from Notre Dame. Took him in the 6th round last year. Well, why is he the right guy?
You know, I've been around Jim Caldwell. When I was in Tampa Bay, he was the quarterback coach. You see this. Look at his teams. In Indy, when he was the head coach, his team's fewest penalties in the league in games. I think a great illustration on the way he handles things, Nick Fairley. I was talking to their general manager, Martin Mayhew, with Fairley. He's had weight issues. He's had all these things. He said he'd been yelled at, he'd been screamed at, he'd had things thrown at. He'd never been sat. Jim Caldwell sat him, and he's responded. He's playing his tail off right now.
It's Reggie Bush in motion. They fake it. Stafford over the middle. Zings it complete. It's Golden Tate, the one-time Seahawk who came in to compliment Calvin Johnson, and so far it's been a great sign.
Well, Matthew Stafford can throw the football. We've seen that over the years. They give good protection. That allows Golden Tate to get behind the linebackers in the zone defense. And Golden Tate is a guy they're very excited because they think he's finally the complement that will take people off Calvin Johnson.
17-yard game. They gave him a 5-year, $31 million deal and a 1st and 10 at the 38. Fake to Bush. And they can come near side, but hit immediately is Tate by Sam Shields. Our first game break of the day. Back to L.A. Kurt Menefee.
Hey, Kevin, you probably wouldn't be surprised if I told you Drew Brees hooked up with a tight end out of the slot for a touchdown. You might be a little shocked if I told you that tight end was Josh Hill. second-year man out of Idaho State, 34 yards. They missed the extra point, but it's still a 13-0 Saints lead over the Vikings. Kevin, John, and Pam.
I would have guessed the third-string tight end on a post, John, all day long.
They ran a reverse to him on 4th and 1 last year in New York.
You never know what you're going to see. It's 2nd and 9 for the Lions. Bell back in the game at running back. They fake. They come to a reverse to Ross, and that is going to go absolutely nowhere. Clay Matthews on the tackle and a loss of about 5.
Well, Jeremy Ross, the former Packer, but watch Clay Matthews. He's going to come all the way across the line of scrimmage. When you get penetration in this league, it wrecks plays. It wrecks running plays. Peppers does a tremendous job setting the edge, and then Clay Matthews does what he does. He wrecks game plans for offenses.
Matthew Stafford, even though this is a 3rd and long, he comes in #1 in the league with a 3rd down rating of 134, which is very, very good. This is 3rd and 14. Got blocking. Looking, zips in, tipped, incomplete, off the hands of Fuller, and it's picked up by Jared Bush. Actually, it was Clinton Dix, excuse me, 21, not 24. But there's a penalty. Let's wait and see what this is. If it stands, it's the first NFL interception from the rookie for Alabama. He was looking for Fuller, and he had a lot of time, but Stafford threw it high.
After the interception, personal foul, low block, number 35 of the passing team. 15 yards will be added to the end of the play. First down, Green Bay.
It goes high off the fingertips, and it's Clinton Dix. His first pro interception. Packers football down 7 in the first. Clinton Dix, who's first career interception, and his favorite player growing up was John Lynch. Guy's sitting right next to me. Do you know that?
You told me the other night.
That's pretty cool stuff. And for him, as Stark's going to get the ball on offense and makes a nice cut to get something for Ziggy Ansah, makes the play. An area that the Packers needed a playmaker.
You know, talking to Dom Capers, the defensive coordinator for the Packers the other night, you think about it, Nick Collins was here, was a playmaker. Charles Woodson, playmaker. They haven't had a playmaker at the safety position in a long time. They think they have one in Clinton Dix.
Meanwhile, Stephen Tulloch is down for the Lions. Their middle linebacker, terrific player. They work on him. We'll break. Lions 7-0, 3:33 to go in the first quarter from Detroit. Stephen Tulloch, watch this. That's after he sacked Aaron Rodgers on the last series on a celebration for getting the sack. It looked like something kind of caught or popped or something. And then we just saw him go down, and he did walk off under his own power. Let's go down the field with Pam.
Well, Kevin, all I can do is tell you what I saw. I'm waiting for official word from the Detroit Lions, and that was just Tulloch trying to warm up, staying on the bike, riding intensely. He looked very, very concerned, wasn't with his teammates sitting on the bench. Don Carey also over here getting work. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Pam. Well, we got a laid flag coming back in. That's Carey. He returned the fumble for a touchdown, but that hamstring's an issue. It made him miss the first 2 games of the season.
Illegal use of hands to the face, number 36 defense. 5 yards will be added to the end of the play, automatic. First down.
Kevin, going back to the Tulloch injury, a different way to get an injury. I thought that was reserved for the Gramatica brothers, but in the celebration, but he's an incredible, important player to this team. You see Danny Gore with the hands to the face of Jordy Nelson. But Tulloch is the middle linebacker, the signal caller for this defense.
That's a big one. Rodgers going to throw it. He's got a completion. There is Jordy Nelson, who's got a first down to the 35-yard line. He's tackled by Tahir Whitehead, who becomes more important with Tulloch out. It's a 14-yard gain.
Well, you see Aaron Rodgers. Tulloch goes out. What do? You go right at his zone. Right next to Tahir Whitehead, who's in for Stephen Tulloch. Aaron Rodgers with one of the quickest releases in football to his favorite target, Jordy Nelson.
Rodgers on first. A little high for Starks, and he just couldn't hold on. And without Tulloch in the middle, the last couple plays they've had Tahir Whitehead, number 59, who is the starter. but usually gets taken off the field on passing down. So he's in there with Levy at the 2 linebacker spots. They have an extra secondary man as a nickel right now. Starks the back. James Starks will get it. And Levy takes him down at the line of scrimmage. DeAndre Levy. You don't know his name by now. He had a great year last year and off to another stellar start.
And he's really an emerging star in the National Football League at the linebacker position. Watch Levy. You read, you react, you get rid of the blocker, then you go make the tackle. Levy also leading the league from linebackers in interceptions with 7 since the 2013 season.
3rd down 10. Four-man rush. Rodgers in trouble. Rolling, firing, complete. Rodgers using the feet to hit Jordy Nelson for a Packer first down. He's down to the 19. It's a gain of 16.
Well, in talking to Aaron Rodgers yesterday, he talked about Jordy Nelson. He feels like him the same way the Lions do about Calvin Johnson. He said he has it all. See the handoff.
Starks has it. Starks running down to the 10. And so the Packers offense getting going.
Back to Jordy Nelson. Aaron Rodgers says one of his great assets, second and third reaction. Rodgers is a mobile quarterback. He can make things happen with his feet. Jordy Nelson in sync. They have tremendous chemistry. Rodgers knows where he's going to be at all times, and he utilizes him on a regular basis.
Yeah, Jordy Nelson has been dominant. He's been the go-to guy coming off a 200-yard gain. Final 49 seconds of the first quarter from Detroit. On a 2nd and 1. Quick hitter. They're looking for Adams, and Rodgers is hot. Adams, the rookie who came on last week. Clearly, he did something that Aaron did not like.
Well, we were talking about the good play of Adams last week, and he said, Aaron Rodgers, something very interesting. Trust is earned, and he's been earning it on the practice field. He didn't earn it right there, and Aaron Rodgers let him have it.
And 3rd down and 1. Interesting that we haven't seen much of Eddie Lacy since that fumble. James Starks remains in. Rodgers looking over the middle. It is Corliss. Touchdown, Green Bay. Packers were looking for something from their tight ends, and they get it.
We talked to Mike McCarthy. We said, look, Jordy Nelson's had this productivity. They're going to double him. Who else are you going to go to? He said, well, the fastest way to the end zone's through the post. There you have it. Andrew Quarles. They needed their tight ends to step up. Boy, did he ever. What a throw by Aaron Rodgers.
A heck of a grab, too. I mean, Abdul Quddus was all over him. And Corliss hauls it in. Rodgers told us that he is a guy, a confidence guy. You got to get him involved early, and then he can really help you. Well, he's involved. A 10-yard touchdown reception. Rodgers to Andrew Corliss. And we've got a tie game. 7-7. Packers and the Lions. Rodgers is just so deadly with his feet.
Jim Caldwell said it best. If you just looked at him as a drop-back passer, he's as good as it gets. But here's the added dimension, his ability to use his feet and then a just rare arm strength, rare arm talent on the run, feet move, and just a strike to Jordy Nelson. And he gets a little fired up.
That was the biggest play of the drive for a Packers offense, which hadn't done a thing up to that point. But this time they go 9 plays, 59 yards. That took 3:07. Aaron Rodgers against the Lions, just dominant. 9-1 in his career, and the numbers to go with it are pretty darn spectacular.
Yeah, I don't understand quarterback rating, but I know that 110 ratings really, really good, and that's what he is against the Detroit Lions. Aaron Rodgers, who lights up everybody, he's got something about the Detroit Lions that really gets him playing, and today it's that secondary. Are they going to be able to cover these guys? They're so injured in that secondary.
Crosby's kick is deep. It will not be returned. Lions ball on their own 20 with 39 seconds to go in the first quarter. This October, history will be made. Baseball's postseason moves to America's new sports network, Fox Sports 1. Your home for baseball's National League Division and Championship Series, and it all begins October 3rd. Meanwhile, the Lions will start on their own 20-yard line. And offensively, they haven't done much either. 44 total yards in this first quarter. Joique Bell in the back. Give it to Bell. And Bell muscles his way out to the 25. He's got a 5-yard gain on first down as clock winding down. 30 seconds in the quarter. That may run it out. So it's been an interesting start. First, Eddie Lacy fumbles on the Packers' second play, and Don Carey picks it up, runs it in for 40 yards for a score. Packers' offense was quiet until that last drive, and then Andrew Quarles holding at a 10-yard touchdown pass from Aaron Rodgers. And after one from Ford Field in Detroit, we've got a tie game. It was Carey first, put the Lions up, but then the Packers coming on back, and we're tied at 7 after one. Clinton Dix has his first interception, and he's in there now at safety for Micah Hyde. He had been getting playing time. Hyde rotating. Calvin Johnson, no catches in the first quarter. And the Lions came into this game banged up, even more banged up now. We'll get to that in a minute as a 2nd down and 5 for Detroit. Blitz coming. Stafford lets it fly for Calvin Johnson. Makes the grab.
I was just commenting during the break, up till now, they've had a safety over Calvin at all times. The first opportunity without a safety over the top, and you just can't defend that. You throw it up. Sam Shields has a 39-inch vertical. So does Calvin Johnson. He actually has a 40, but Calvin Johnson 6'5", Sam Shields 5'11".
Calvin Johnson told us the other day when, those catches when he goes up and just gives up his body, he said, well, if you're going to get hit, might as well make the catch. Time he got hit by the ground, but he outleads Shields, and a first down at the 49. With Reggie Bush in the backfield, and he'll get it. Bush hurtling over a defender, A.J. Hawk, who got him. And we talked about those Lions injuries from more. Pam Oliver.
Well, Kevin, Stephen Tulloch, the linebacker who Aaron Rodgers told us was one of the best but underrated inside linebackers in the conference. Well, he's questionable with a left knee injury. He was absolutely dejected as he went in for a further examination. Safety Don Carey, he's questionable with the hamstring. And Stephen Tulloch, again, a knee injury, and he's gone in for more examination. Back to you.
Well, that injury, well, there's two things here. Carey, the Lions are already 3 secondary players out coming in, so that's a 4th. I mean, how many guys can they have go down? Meanwhile, they're on offense, so it's Stafford falling backwards and incomplete. He was looking for Corey Fuller.
I'll tell you what, the guy who stood out the last week, the last couple weeks really, is right there, Mike Daniels. Playing inside tackle. They're only playing the 2 defensive linemen. He was the player of the game in my mind for the Packers last week. Very active inside, disruptive player. Got pressure on Matthew Stafford on that play.
3 safety look for Green Bay. They've got Hyde, Burnett, and Clinton Dix in there. Another 3rd and long for the Lions. 0 of 3 on 3rd down thus far. Stafford, pressure, steps up, firing for Johnson, and it's intercepted. Intercepted in the end zone. It's Devon House, and Stafford has thrown 2 picks here today. It was going for Calvin Johnson, and that time overthrew him by a wide margin. Good coverage by Devon House. Packers take over. We're tied at 7.
Game on Fox is sponsored by The Judge from Warner Brothers Pictures, in theaters October 10th, by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. And by Chevrolet. Find new roads.
Matthew Stafford has thrown 2 interceptions, but like they do on every turnover, they will review it in the booth. And they're looking at this one. Let's bring in Mike Pereira from L.A. Mike, why are they looking at this with House? What are they checking?
Well, it's not a touchback, and here's the reason why. The interception was completed at the 1-yard line. Watch him complete the process here. He's going to go to the ground, which means it's an interception at the 1. Then he rolls into the end zone. He takes it into the end zone, which by rule might be a safety, except for the momentum rule. Since he's completed the catch at the 1 and then rolls on his own into the end zone, what they'll do is give him the momentum spot, which is the 1-yard line, not a touchback, and Green Bay will get the ball first and 10 at the 1.
Oh, that's certainly a big difference. Mike, we thank you for that explanation. Well, that's interesting. That's
After review, the interception was completed with the ball at the 1-yard line. By rule, that's where the ball will be placed. First down, Green Bay at the 1-yard line.
Hey, Mike, we tried to get you before. We just had some issues. What do you make of the crew of Cheffers here leading the league in penalties assessed so far?
Well, you know, it's interesting. You begin to see a trend where over 2 weeks you're averaging 28.5 penalties, 33 last week. The one thing that strikes me is the number of offensive holding penalties and defensive holding penalties called. 14 offensive holding penalty calls, 7 in their first 2 games, and also 7 total defensive holding calls. That's a lot of penalties, and you know, you hope the trend doesn't continue for too long.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. Good to see you. We haven't had Mike on all year, John. So you didn't like us anymore, Mike. What's going on? All right, Packers, they start on their own 1 with Lacy in the game at tailback.
Kevin, you don't like interceptions, but that's about as good of a punt as you could ever have by Matthew Stafford back in the Packers up.
Lacy in trouble. Down he goes. It's a safety. Wow, DeAndre Levy came in flying.
I want you to watch DeAndre Levy. Watch him penetrate into the backfield. You can't play the linebacker position any better. DeAndre Levy, his partner Stephen Tulloch's out, getting into the backfield for the safety. Excellent play by DeAndre Levy. As I said, an emerging star in this league at the linebacker position.
Wow, that is huge. So that call that Mike explains turns out to be enormous. In Detroit, like you said, John, essentially a punt and then a safety.
Detroit, Kevin, is so good up front. It takes 2 to block fairly. Jason Jones provides a wall right there. It frees up these linebackers to get into the backfield, and that's just an incredibly instinctive play by DeAndre Levy to get in that backfield, bring down Eddie Lacy. And this defense playing some incredible football early this season.
Hey, remember when we opened the show and I said if you like offense, this is the game for you? Well, Detroit scored all their points on defense today. All right, so that just goes to show you have no idea what you're going to see. They've got the fumble return by Carey for a touchdown, the safety by Levy, and you know now you're seeing Packers came in today. We weren't sure, but they're trying to establish the run, and they've got nothing in that department the first 2 games and so far today.
And what a big play, that momentum play. I mean, they got the ball at the 20. Next thing you know, it's at the 1. And here comes DeAndre Levy. Huge, huge play.
Well, Levy makes the play, and now Packers will kick it away, and they will punt as Mastay will do the kick after the safety. And Ross, who is an electric returner, he's got a punt and a kick return to his credit, and a former Packer who, by the way, was released almost exactly a year ago. I think he's got that on his mind. Here's Ross. Jeremy Ross. Oh, he had it on his mind, all right. Now to the 45, and the Lions with tremendous field position.
Kevin, the Lions are going to be on offense now, but their defense has been their offense, getting the ball out, getting the ball in the end zone. All over Aaron Rodgers. Just don't celebrate. Here comes DeAndre Levy with the safety. The Lions defense playing some big boy football for the Detroit Lions.
Well, now let's see if the offense can get going. Matthew Stafford just 5 of 11, 55 yards and 2 interceptions thus far. Reggie Bush in at tailback, and Bush will get it. With a shimmy shake, but that didn't fool anybody. A.J. Hawk there first to make the stop. Well, the Lions haven't gotten the running game going either, as both Bell and Bush have been quiet in that department. 5 carries for Reggie, just 10 yards.
And I tell you, the Green Bay defense hasn't been a slouch either.
No.
I mean, they're playing some really good football. Struggled the 6 quarters at Seattle. The first half against the New York Jets at home was terrible last week, but you see that turnaround in the second half. Third down was the key, getting off the field, and they're doing it well here today.
Now 2nd and 10, empty backfield, 3-man rush. Stafford going to tuck it and run, and he gets headlocked down at midfield. And we're waiting to see if there's a flag. Meanwhile, let's go to Joel Klatt for a game break.
All right, Kevin, you guys getting some good defense there in your ball game. How about some good defense from St. Louis? Romo's 4th pick of the season, Janoris Jenkins winds up in the end zone, and the Rams all over the boys early, 21-0, Kevin.
Look, I know he's a quarterback, and we protect our quarterbacks, but he's a runner at that point. Good tackle by Jamari Lattimore.
Meanwhile, a 3rd down for the Lions. They're 0 for 4 on 3rd. Stafford hit as he throws. He's got Megatron for a 1st down inside the 40 to the 38. And so the Lions convert their first 3rd down of the game. A little sidearm toss from Stafford.
Well, they've been working on Stafford coming a little more over the top on a regular basis. But you know what? Sometimes you got to forget the fundamentals and just make plays. And Matthew Stafford has rare arm talent right through the window. What a beautiful shot right there. Stafford to Calvin Johnson.
And that is a 12-yard gain and a 1st down. The Lions needed that on offense. As Joique Bell in the game at tailback. Here's Bell. Nice little cut, and Joique Bell down to 35. He's going to pick up 3. Meanwhile, we told you about the new head coach. It's Jim Caldwell, and they've also got a bunch of new coaches. Joe Lombardi, who was with New Orleans for a long time, 7 years. Quarterbacks coach there with Drew Brees. Talking about Stafford, and he said, you know, in terms of those different deliveries, I think it's a gift.
It's an asset. It's a huge asset. What they want to do, they're really working with his feet such that he only uses it in occasions like that when he absolutely has to.
Here's Bell again, and Bell, short gain, going to give him 2, and it looks like a 3rd down and 5.
By the way, Kevin, I think there's a lot of people in Green Bay that know that last name, Lombardi.
You may have heard of it. I'm not sure. Well, yeah, there is a relation. Vince is Joe's grandfather. And he said, you know, I don't really think about it, but there was a cool article during the week, and I don't remember who wrote it, to be honest, but when the Saints won the Super Bowl, they said, hey, here's your grandfather's trophy.
He said it hit him then.
I would think. On a 3rd and 5 now for the Lions. Stafford in trouble, hit, but completes to Bush. He hung into the last possible second, and he nails Reggie Bush down to the 18 and a 1st down.
I want you to watch. You talk about talent at the quarterback position. Clay Matthews is going to loop in here all over Matthew Stafford. Stafford has the arm strength to get the ball 10-plus yards downfield in stride to Reggie Bush. That's just an incredible play by Matthew Stafford.
And so now the Lions, who hadn't converted a 3rd down, have picked up their last 2 and a 1st and 10 at the 18. It's Golden Tate, number 15, in motion, the former Seahawk. And they're going to give it to Bush. Reggie Bush still going, and they're going to try to get him on the move now as he's inside the 12 to the 11. It's a gain of 7.
Well, you see Reggie Bush, and here's what he's so capable of bouncing it to the outside. Devon House is worried about him going to the outside. Instead, Reggie Bush says, I'm going north and south. He gets low, 2 hands over the ball, ball security. Nice job, nice run by Reggie Bush.
Forget Bush's year last year. He had over 1,000 yards rushing, 512 yards receiving. He's been relatively quiet coming into today. On 2nd down, blitz coming. Stafford throwing end zone, incomplete. Looking for Calvin Johnson. But Devon House, pretty good coverage over there.
Tom Capers, the defensive coordinator for the Packers, dialing up the blitz. And watch Tramon Williams going to come here. He gets a clean shot on Matthew Stafford. Hits like that take their toll. We talk about body blows. There's a body blow from Tramon Williams to Matthew Stafford.
3rd down and 3. Eerily quiet in the dome when the Lions are on offense. It's impressive. Stafford back. He's going to sling it. Flat push. He's got 1st down. That'll do the job. Reggie Bush has enough for a 1st as he gets it down to the 6, and it's a gain of 5. 1st and goal.
Well, you're starting to see what this offense is capable. They've got weapons all over this field. Yes, you have Calvin Johnson, but you also have Golden Tate. You also have Reggie Bush, Jeremy Ross, and a host of tight ends, Pettigrew, Foria, and the rookie Eric Ebron. Weapons all over the field. Matthew Stafford doing a nice job of spreading the football.
Calvin Johnson is the guy bottom of your screen. Pettigrew, the tight end on this one. They're going to give to Bush, and he slips awkwardly, too. Hope he's all right on that one. That did not look pretty, but he gets up just fine. And he loses 4 yards. This Lions team that has been efficient in the red zone.
There's certain guys in this league you just have to block. I don't care if you're running away from them. Julius Peppers, mind you, in his 13th year, you've got to block that guy.
Second down and goal. That's a loss of 4. Stafford, pressure in his face again. Knocked down and incomplete. Clay Matthews came in and got a hand on it. Now you're looking at a 3rd and goal from the 10.
You watch this play by Clay Matthews. He's known as a pass rusher, but look at just incredibly instinctive play. He's going to float over here, just mirroring Matthew Stafford and the ability to knock this ball down. Look at him. He's looking at Matthew Stafford's eyes, has the hand-eye coordination to get a hand on that ball. Sometimes it doesn't show up in sacks, but Clay Matthews is a complete football player.
Lions bring Joseph Fourier, the 6'7" tight end. Bottom of your screen, he's in that big bunch. There he is. Thanks, John. 3rd and goal. Stafford in trouble. Gets away. Being pursued, and he gets taken down. Mike Neal, and the Packers, with the pressure, get the sack, and the Lions will have to try a field goal.
Well, they had it coming. Matthew Stafford had it coming from both ends. Peppers collapsed the pocket on the right side of the Detroit Lions offensive line, and here comes Neal wrapping around, and just effort, stick-to-itiveness. And he brings in Matthew Stafford, almost gets that ball out of there.
And now Nate Freeze, the rookie. This is no gimme. He is only 2 of 5 on the year, but Jim Caldwell stuck with him this week despite having other kickers in for a tryout. It'll be a 30-yarder. And Freeze will put it through, so at least that'll build some confidence. But the Packers defense holds after a nice drive by the Lions. They stiffen up inside the 10 thanks to this. Mike Neal. Come here, Stafford. Lions are in front, 12 seconds in the second. So the Lions add a field goal, a 30-yarder from Nate Freeze, and they lead the Packers 12-7. They've gotten 2 defensive scores, a fumble return by Don Carey, and then a safety on a tremendous play by DeAndre Levy. But despite the feel of it's really their game, John, it's only 12-7. Juwan Harris will return the kick. Harris, and gets labeled out around the 19-yard line. Nice hit by Jed Collins, the former Saints. And the Packers will take over there. Mike McCarthy not thrilled what he's seen, but the defense playing pretty well. It's the Lions in front by 5.
Game is sponsored by McDonald's, official sponsor of the NFL. I'm loving it.
12-7, Lions over the Packers here. 6:10 to go in the first half, and that is not good news for Detroit. That's Steven Tulloch, their middle linebacker, a tremendous player. Left knee iced, out of uniform, and unfortunately saw him get hurt on his sack celebration. That's a rough one. That's a big guy to lose, and we'll see how it affects this Lions defense against Aaron Rodgers on a 1st down at the 19. Rodgers has time, and dropped on the far side by Jared Boykin, who had 1 or 2 of those last week. That's when he's got to make the play.
You've seen that 3rd receiver struggle for the Packers here today. Devontae Adams earlier with a miscommunication with Aaron Rodgers. Now the flat-out drop from Boykin.
Aaron Rodgers, 4 of 9 for 49 yards and a touchdown so far. Draw Lacy, big hole, spin move across the 25. Good run, Eddie Lacy. Game break to LA with Joel Klatt.
All right, Kevin, from the NFC North to the NFC East, where Jordan Matthews from Vanderbilt, the rookie, his first touchdown catch ever in the NFL. That brings the Eagles within 3, 17-14. Kevin, John.
Joe, Kirk Cousins today, 16 of 19, 156 yards and 2 touchdowns for the Redskins.
Maybe Joe Theismann was right.
Oh, man. Good game in Philly. 3rd and 3 here for the Packers. Rodgers, dangerous on the move, fires a bullet, and it's caught by Randall Cobb. Out to the 39. Man, what a throw and a 13-yard gain and a first down.
Kevin, this is just beautiful to watch Aaron Rodgers throw a football. Moving to his right. Watch how quickly it comes out and the velocity that it moves with. He's a unique skill set that Aaron Rodgers has, and he uses it well.
Quick snap to Lacy, looking for some room. Good cut. Lacy jumping over people. He tried to hurdle Darius Slay, and he did it. And he gets out to the 46-yard line. Man, 7-yard run. And now Lacy's had a couple good ones in a row.
That play, Aaron Rodgers tries to get in here and block, and Mike McCarthy's probably going to tell him, you leave the blocking to those guys up front.
And now it Starks in the backfield, and James Starks will get it. A little shimmy shake, and then powering up the middle, and he's close. We'll see where they spot it. Issa Abdul Quddus in there to bring him down. Looks like he's going to be about a yard shy, and a 3rd and short.
And I like this. I like this by Mike McCarthy. The starting middle linebacker is out for the Detroit Lions. What do? You attack him right up the middle, running the football.
Third and less than a yard. Rodgers having trouble as the crowd gets loud. Don't call a timeout. For the first timeout of the game for either team, and the Packers will take it with a 3rd and short coming up. Both defenses playing well. Eddie Lacy hurdling over people. 12-7 Lions in the second. Stephen Tulloch can only watch now as the Lions middle linebacker injuring that left knee, and a 3rd down and 1 for the Packers. Starks, good cut, and Starks with a big hole. James Starks diving down to the 37-yard line. 14-yard run on a 3rd and 1, and the Packers move the chains.
Really a design cutback off the toss, getting people on the ground, and then Starks secures the football. Really nice play call. Looked like you're going to the outside, cut it back to the inside. First down, Green Bay.
The Lions just in a nickel going to 2 linebackers, but without Tulloch, that's a factor. They fake it. Rodgers almost taken down, and fires, tips, incomplete. I thought we were going to get a hold there for sure. It looked like Nick Fairley got held, but no call, and it's an incomplete.
What an effort by Nick Fairley. He's been doing this on a regular basis this season. Watch him. Watch this get off. So quick. He almost gets Aaron Rodgers, almost gets the football out right there. What a play by Nick Fairley.
Corey Linsley, the young center, holding on for dear life, and it's just incomplete after all that. So a 2nd and 10. John Kuhn in at fullback now, number 30 for the Packers. And we get some movement. Maybe on Josh Sinton, the left guard, who may have rocked.
Start number 7 on offense. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
And it is.
But when you've got Nick Fairley and then Ndamukong Suh lining up aside from you on the other side, that's what can happen. Josh Sinton knows you better get off the ball quickly to block that man. And he gets a little jumpity.
There's Suh, who's off the field right now, getting a momentary breather. Second and 15 after the penalty. Jordy Nelson, bottom of your screen, 2 catches so far. Rodgers looking his way, make it 3 catches, but immediately tackled by Darius Slay. Is down to the 39-yard line. It's going to be a short gain, 3 or 4.
You like that by Darius Slay. Jordy Nelson so proficient at the yards after the catch, the run after the catch. So what do you have to do? You got to get him before he can turn. Darius Slay breaks hard on the football, comes up with a nice tackle.
Packers are really already in Mason Crosby's field goal range. He's got a booming leg, but this is a 3rd and 11. Four-man rush. Rodgers in trouble. And Ndamukong Suh eats him alive.
There's 2 guys that really stir the pot for this Detroit Lions defense, and it's Nick Fairley and then Ndamukong Suh. They run a game on that side. Suh lines up as the end, comes in, and then stays after it and gets it. Aaron Rodgers down on the ground for the Detroit Lions.
Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to iTunes.com/NFL. Here in Detroit, it's been the Lions defense that has been the story. A fumble return for a touchdown, a safety, and they've done a great job leading the Packers 12-7. Ross going to call a fair catch, and he'll do it right at the 10, and the Lions will take over there. Visa halftime report coming up in a few moments. Let's find out what's on the plate with Curt Menefee.
Coming up on the Visa halftime, Brian Hoyer and the Browns looking to keep the magic going against the Ravens. The Bolts battle the Bills in Buffalo, and Eli Manning and the Giants look for their first win of the season. It's all coming up on the Visa halftime.
You get the 360 Curt there. I like that. And the wink at the end.
I didn't think he used a telephone.
That's style. That's styling either way. So here are the Lions now with a 12-7 lead. Matthew Stafford, 8 of 16, 87 yards, 2 interceptions. And he's going to dump it off to Reggie Bush. And Bush is going to be tripped up by Micah Hyde. John, both these defenses getting pressure with 4-man rush and really tackling well.
There's been really good defensive football on this field today. It's starting up front for both groups with the pressure you talked about. They're both playing the run game well, and then they're tackling in space, and that's the key to good defense in this league.
Calvin Johnson so far today, 2 catches for 38 yards. So both he and Jordy Nelson, who were tearing up the league the first 2 weeks, have been quiet. It's Bush. And Reggie Bush works his way up. He's shy of a first down by about 1.5 yards. It's a gain of 8 for Bush and a 3rd and short coming up.
I like the way Reggie Bush is running today. A lot of it between the tackles and running strong and running powerfully. Joe Lombardi, the offensive coordinator, talked that he wanted to get Reggie more involved in the game, and he's done it. 8 carries, 3 catches for Reggie Bush.
40 seconds to go in the half. Lions going to chuck it to Bush again, and he's going to have a first down and then go out of bounds. Lions have all 3 timeouts. It almost looks like they're just content to go into the break with a 12-7 lead. Which is kind of interesting with the weapons that they have. And
yeah, you know, I understand you don't want to turn the football over, but you got to play to win. Remember, the Packers came back from 18 down in the 3rd quarter last week against the New York Jets. It's a potent offense for the Green Bay Packers. You got to play to win. You got to at least be trying for a field goal.
And you have plenty of time left and 3 timeouts. It's very casually going about this drive. 4-man rush, pressure again, and incomplete. Stafford tossed to the ground. Julius Pepper is introducing himself one more time. Packers have not needed to really blitz as much. They're getting heat on Stafford.
Remember, the Detroit Lions on their 3rd offensive tackle in the 3rd game of the season, and Julius Peppers is wearing Garrett Reynolds out, and they better get him some help, some chip help, a tight end on his side, something to take the heat off Garrett Reynolds.
25 seconds to go in the half.
And there is that help. The tight end shows up.
Stafford going to step up and run and just slide on down. And they are going to call a timeout. Question is who called it. The Lions do call it. Actually, the Packers called that timeout. So the Packers will stop it with a third down coming up. Well, some shows have buzz, and then there's Gotham. Critics have been raving about it all summer long, and tomorrow it's finally here. See how the legendary characters began. Don't miss the Gotham series. Premiere tomorrow. It's at 8/7 Central on Fox. That's pretty cool. Check that out. As the Packers called the timeout, why not? They've got a kicker that's got a rocket for a leg. He had a 55-yarder last week, and if they stop him, they have one more timeout left here. Joique Bell in the game. 3rd and 7 for a very curious end of the first half for Detroit. Stafford has a lot of time, airing it out for Corey Fuller. He makes the catch! Corey Fuller with an athletic grab down the 23, and the Lions will call a timeout. 52 yards. The game clock in the stadium says 8 seconds left.
Got Corey Fuller, a first-year player out of Virginia Tech. Just does a nice job putting a little hand on Sam Shields to create the separation, but then bringing that football in. A lot of confidence. All right, you're going to double Calvin Johnson. I'll take it over to Corey Fuller, even against Sam Shields, and the gamble pays off.
It's his first NFL catch, by the way. It's pretty good time for it. 52 yards. So after the Lions were being so conservative and so laissez-faire about the time, now they get themselves in field goal range. 8 seconds ago, and they've got 2 timeouts, so they're going to take one more shot here. Put Calvin Johnson on the bottom of your screen. And now we get a whistle. Packers call their final timeout. So we fully expected an offensive show today, the way these teams had looked this year, and of course it's been the complete opposite of that, John.
You never know what you're going to get in the National Football League. I think what both teams have done a great job, exactly what they told us they were going to try to do, keeping Calvin Johnson and keeping Jordy Nelson away from wrecking this game.
Yeah.
They're both such dynamic wide receivers. They're getting a ton of attention. And so it's going to be the team, in my mind, that can find somebody else to make those plays. The Lions just found it in Corey Fuller with that deep ball.
Yeah, meanwhile, both defenses playing extremely well. The Lions have their points, 9 of them from the D. And we look at the rookie, Nate Freese, who had his struggles coming into today, but had a 30-yarder to start, so a good start. Lions brought in a couple kickers to try out this week. Jim Caldwell stuck with Freese. It'll be about a 40-yard field goal. They tried it now, but they've got 2 timeouts. They can get 1, maybe 2 plays. Stafford looking end zone. Got a fire for Calvin Johnson. Threw it out of bounds. And 3 seconds left. Now you got a kick. So the rookie from Boston College who did not miss a kick. He was 20 of 20 his senior season. 2 of 5 to start his NFL career, but hit his first today. I'll now line up, and this will be a 41-yarder.
Remember, on the other side, not only is he a rookie kicker who struggled, he's got Julius Peppers, who's blocked 13 career kicks for the Green Bay Packers.
Sam Martin, the punter, the hold. And he missed. And so Nate Freese has missed again, and the Boo Bird's going to rain down in Detroit. Now the Lions have a real problem. Trying to build the confidence in their young kicker. But that's a gimme field goal for an NFL kicker, a 41-yarder.
Well, when we asked Jim Caldwell about it, he said it's a performance business. Bottom line, nothing's guaranteed.
The defensive battle in Detroit, and at the half, it's the Lions 12. It's the Packers 7. Time now for the Visa Halftime Report. Back to L.A. with Curt Menefee. Curt. It's been all defense in this rivalry in this first half. 12-7 Lions, who've gotten a defensive touchdown and a safety. And Ndamukong Suh in that defensive line has dominated. Today's Nissan excitement is just this. The Lions defense, fumble return for touchdown, safety, 2 sacks as well. And Aaron Rodgers has had 6 of 12 for 66 yards. Didn't expect that. Lions defense doing the job.
No, and I promise you, Mike McCarthy's in that locker room telling block for these guys. They are injured in the secondary. If we give Aaron time, we can beat these guys downfield. On the other side, you got to think, if you're Jim Caldwell, not only did you miss that field goal with your rookie kicker, who's now 3 of 7 on the year, you got to worry going forward about Jim Caldwell's confidence. This is going to be a close game. Does Jim Caldwell have the confidence to send him out there again in a big moment?
Well, he's going to have to. I mean, that's the thing. You know, I was watching Freeze in pregame, John. He was hitting field goals from 58 yards away. But when you're missing, he's missed short kicks. That was a 41-yarder. And that's the real issue. That's going to be worth watching as this game goes on. So it's been a defensive battle, and we're certainly talking about the Lions D, but this Packers defense has also done an excellent job. Packers won the toss initially and deferred, so they'll get it to start. Juan Harris, we're going to watch this one sail out of the end zone. Down on the field we go with Pam Oliver.
Well, Kevin, the first thing I had for Jim Caldwell was kicker Nate Freeze. How do you keep confidence in this young man? How do you build confidence? He said, you know what, I have no sympathy. This is the National Football League. You have got to make those kicks. Caldwell also wants to run the ball better. Meantime, for the Packers, Mike McCarthy stressed at the half that the offense has got to start executing better. Big plays, he says, we've got to stop allowing those and pay attention more to the details if we're going to win this game. Back to you.
Well, that is strong words, Pam, from Jim Caldwell, huh? I mean, boy, I don't blame him. Can't do it in this league. Well, the Packers started out 1st and 10 on their own, 20 down by 5. Rodgers going to throw it quickly to Andrew Corliss, who has the Packers touchdown today, the tight end. And it is rare you go to a half, John, we see Aaron Rodgers under 100 yards.
It really is. And his go-to guy this year, he's been targeted more than anybody in this league in the first 2 games, is Jordy Nelson. Now, Jordy Nelson has 3 catches. The Detroit Lions are making a concerted effort to take him out of the game. So guys like Randall Cobb, Devontae Adams, Boykin, Corliss, who they just threw to, they're going to have to step up.
2nd and 3. And he'll get it away to Corliss again. Levy is there on the tackle, but Corliss is up to the 35-yard line. He's got an 8-yard gain. Let me ask you, with the Lions team, Tulloch's out. He got hurt early with a knee. They lost Carey, who returned the fumble for a touchdown, and they're essentially down 4 guys in their secondary. How in the world are they keeping Jordy Nelson off the board?
Well, you got a safety over the top of them. They got Darius Slay on them for the most part. You got a safety over the top. They're doubling them on each and every play. Someone else has to win.
Packers against a 4-man rush there that time over the middle, and that time they go to Nelson. Darius Slay, pretty good coverage.
Now Kudus is right here, and this time Aaron Rodgers says, you know what, go ahead, double him. I'm going to throw it in anyway. And that's because Aaron Rodgers has that kind of release that can get there quick enough, but it's the plays down the field that they're really limiting. They may have to take these underneath routes and then allow Jordy Nelson to break tackles.
Eddie Lacy is the single back. Look at the pitch. Lacy bounces off the first couple tackles, but the Lions swarming on defense. DeAndre Levy was there. He's had a good game so far. Jason Jones, I think, was the first to hit him.
You want to watch a really good defense, you watch if they're swarming to the football. They've got great players, but look at the effort that they're playing with. Jason Jones out of a block. Levy bounces off. Here comes the posse. They're coming. They're playing hard. They've got great players. This defense can be something here in Detroit.
Third down and 5. Rodgers rolling. Here comes some pressure on the run. Incomplete. He was looking for Randall Cobb there, but again, the pocket forced him to move out, and the Packers will punt it away.
Aaron Rodgers getting frustrated. Watch Darius Slay on Jordy Nelson. 2-man. That means safety over the top, Darius Slay underneath, and he's all over Jordy Nelson. That's who Rodgers wanted early. Then he misfires to Cobb coming across the field.
And so Mastay will punt it away to Jeremy Ross. Fair catch called for by Ross, and he will take it at the 13-yard line. And now it's the Lions on offense after a 47-yard punt. Detroit 12, Green Bay 7, early third quarter. We're coming back.
Today's Game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Without a heart, it's just a machine. By Papa John's, official pizza sponsor of the NFL. By Lowe's. Lowe's, never stop improving. And by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly.
And the Lions take over. A 1st and 10 on their own 13-yard line. Up 12-7 on the Packers in this defensive game in the third. Joique Bell is going nowhere.
Kevin, you go back to this third down play. Look at the play of Nick Fairley. And you might say, hey, that's illegal, the hit to the legs. Remember, when Aaron Rodgers is out of the pocket, he loses that pocket protection. And you see he's been under duress all day long. He misfired on that third down. And even with the best, like Aaron Rodgers, when you constantly pressure them, when you constantly hit them, their accuracy gets affected.
They've done a great job. Meanwhile, this Green Bay front has played exceptionally well. Stafford to throw. He's got time. He sends it to Calvin Johnson, who's got a first down up to the 30. Calvin Johnson picks up 17.
That's why that run game is so important. You run it enough, then the play action comes into play. The linebackers get sucked up on the play action fake behind the linebackers to the big target in Calvin Johnson.
You really see the respect with Johnson's 4.3 speed, because Shields had no help over the top, just giving him that room.
Wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would.
I did.
So 1st and 10 for the Lions at the 30. Pressure. Stafford bobble, a little in front of Johnson there. Hawk was on defense. It's been interesting watching Clay Matthews today bounce all over the field.
Capers, I think, is really doing a nice job of utilizing Clay Matthews. He's a guy like Aaron Rodgers on offense. He can do everything like Calvin Johnson. And so they're dropping him some. They're monitoring. They felt like last week maybe they dropped him a little too much. You want him going forward, but they're moving him all over the field, and that creates good matchups for him in a multitude of spots.
Here he's on the top there of your screen on the line. Stafford coming near side of Reggie Bush, and Bush out across the 35. He's tackled immediately by Lattimore. And a third down coming up. It'll be 3rd and 4. The Lions, which started this game so cold on third down, are up to 5 of 10 on third now. Stafford, his numbers, he came in #1 overall in the league for the quarterback rating on third down. 3rd and 4. Pressure, running, flag flies. Stafford slides down. He's close. I think he slid down short of a first, and then we got a flag from the far side of the field. After an early start, when we talked about the penalties with Carl Cheffers and his crew, it hasn't been a factor today.
Holding, number 38 defense. 5 yards will be added to the end of the play. Automatic first down.
Until then, it's on Tramon Williams.
Tramon Williams working one-on-one against Foria, the tight end. Hands outside. When you get those hands outside the framework of their bodies, the officials, they look for that. You use good technique, get your hands inside, you aren't going to get called for holds. When you get outside the framework, they're going to get you most times.
There you see the penalties for the Packers after a sloppy first week in their loss at Seattle. Their 3rd today, and it gives the Lions a first down. Stafford, Reggie Bush, couple nice cutbacks to midfield. Nice run for Bush. It's a 6-yard gain on first down. We've got a game break. Check in with Joel Klatt.
All right, Kevin, we go back to St. Louis where the boys are coming back. Tony Romo is going to find a wide-open Dez Bryant. And John Lynch, that's not a touchdown catch. That's called fielding a punt. My goodness, where was the safety? Boys on the comeback trail, 21-17. Kevin and John.
Well, that That didn't look like fielding a punt. I don't know what that was.
You don't leave that guy wide open. That'd be like leaving Calvin Johnson in the middle of the field. You don't do it. Certain guys, you double them. You don't leave them uncovered.
Second down, Peppers and Matthews both off the field. Lions gonna throw. Stafford gets it in space, and he's got a completion to Golden Tate. It's another Lion first down, and this offense has some symmetry here in the third.
This shows the toughness of Matthew Stafford. You see at the end of this play, he knows he's going to get hit. Here comes Boyd. He stands in the pocket, delivers a strike to Golden Tate. And Golden Tate, you can really see, okay, you're going to double Calvin Johnson. We've got another guy we're very happy throwing to, along with handing it to Reggie Bush, throwing it to Reggie Bush. They've got a bunch of weapons, and they're really using them well in this new offense.
3 catches for 34 yards to Tate, who led the Seahawks in receiving last year. First down. There's George Bell. And Bell muscles through the first tackle, but not the next couple. Nick Perry is the guy who got his hands on him first.
Now you're in this area, Kevin, where it just dawned upon, they're in that field goal area. All right, you get to fourth down. Do you send Freeze out there again, or do you go for it on fourth down? Big conundrum for Jim Caldwell and the Detroit Lions.
I'll tell you what, I think you're going to need him in this game, so you're almost forced to rely on him, aren't you?
I think so.
You have to.
Yeah, you've got to, even if you don't have much belief, you've got to continue to try to trust in the young man.
Second and 9 on a fake to Bell. And Stafford, Calvin Johnson's open. And he's got the catch inside the 20 to the 18 and a Lion first down. The 15-yarder to Calvin Johnson.
It's the play-action passing that's been good for Matthew Stafford and the Detroit Lions on this drive. Again, the play-action fake draws up the linebackers. You can't throw it any better than Matthew Stafford just did. Not a bad target to throw it to in Calvin Johnson.
And Devon House, number 31, who was on Calvin Johnson, went off the field. He may have been hurt on that play. Play clock at 2. We'll get it off. Stafford looking for Reggie Bush. Turns it upfield. He's close to a first down. Going to mark him out at the 10. It's a gain of 8.
Well, Kevin, we talked about all these weapons. When you think of the the New Orleans offense that Joe Lombardi brought in, what were they known for? For spreading the football around the field. Yes, you have Calvin Johnson, but you can't make a living just being a one-trick pony. Now they've got other guys they can go to, and they're doing it very well.
Stafford told us, I almost feel like we have 150 personnel groupings. He's a little off, but gives you an idea. Joik Bell in the eye on a second down. That's Golden Tate, number 15 in motion, and Bell gets the carry. Again, tough sledding against this Packers defensive line. He's going to get a yard. Bush has been active. Hasn't had that breakaway play yet, but clearly Joe Lombardi kind of hinted to us that he didn't want to forget about Reggie Bush, and he hasn't. This drive began on the Lions' 13-yard line. This is the 12th play of the drive, and a big one with a 3rd and 1. That was Lombardi. We just showed you the new offensive coordinator. Joik Bell is the back.
Calvin Johnson's got the one-on-one outside. Instead, they hand it to the fullback up the middle.
Jed Collins, the ex-Saint who had a touchdown catch last week. We just showed you Lombardi, and he told us, I asked him, why bring in Collins? And this offense really didn't have a fullback in the recent years. He said, because on downs you need to run it. I wanted to have a fullback.
It's an important part of this offense. We've talked about the run game and how that's lended to the effective play-action passing. Well, fullbacks a key. There aren't many fullbacks left. Jed Collins a really good one.
It'll be a 1st and goal. Ball at the 7. They're going to fake. Stafford in trouble and just throws it away. Stafford didn't have much time there. Julius Peppers on his case.
Well, they try to get Julius Peppers with the toss away, but Julius Peppers in his 13th year, not only a tremendous player, just a smart player. He's going to be right here. You block him with the tight end, not good enough. Just a little shove's not going to do it with Julius Peppers. Not only a great player, but a very, very smart player who's made a living out of harassing quarterbacks.
Joseph Fourier at number 80, the big tight end. He had 7 TDs last year with that 6'7" frame. He's in that bunch, bottom of your screen. 2nd and goal. Stafford, pressure, fumble, sacked. Packers have it. Julius Peppers came in to get the job done. He sacked him, and I believe he recovered it too. Here is Peppers. How about that? Doing the dirty work and then finish it up. Huge play for Green Bay. The Packers gave Julius Peppers a 3-year, $27 million deal to lure him away from Chicago. He was a cap casualty, and that was an enormous play. Sacked Detroit on their 14th play of the drive at the 7, and then forced the fumble and picked it up. And now it's Packers ball, and Rodgers going to work with Randall Cobb out to the 20.
Kevin, and here's why that $27 million is money well spent. Julius Peppers working against Garrett Reynolds. Get your hands off me. Matthew Stafford's got to know right there. We're singling up, 2 hands on the football. He goes to 1 hand. Peppers been doing this too long. Says, give me that ball. Now
119.5 career sacks. His first sack as a Packer. Raw. It's inside, and that's Harris who gets a call, and he's got a first down. So DeJuan Harris has his first carry of the game. Well, you're going to circle that play big because we may be coming back to that. It's a great drive by Detroit. Their 14th play. They went 74 yards. And Stafford,
I think, upset with the protection, but also upset with himself because he knows at the least bit you may have an opportunity at a turnover, or excuse me, at a field goal. You just can't turn the ball over.
There's 4:42 left in the 3rd quarter, and Aaron Rodgers has 95 yards passing. And yet the Packers are only down by 5. I mean, think about that for a second. On first down. Quick hitter to Boykin, who gets up, was not touched, and on his feet to the 35. He's got a first down, an 11-yard gain.
Good adjustment. You're struggling with your passing game to achieve any rhythm. Just get the ball in your receiver's hands, and we're so used to seeing the Packers so proficient at the yards after the catch. Aaron Rodgers gets it out so quickly, not very accurately, but Levy forced to tackle a wide receiver in space, can't get it done.
They'll do another quick hitter, but this one is behind Adams, who makes the adjustment and really had nowhere to go after that. The rookie Adams came back to make the catch, and Mohamed Cisse, who was on the practice squad, just called up the other day and on the play.
And that's the thing you got to be thinking if you're Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy. You got these guys right where you want them. You got their 6th, 7th, 8th defensive backs of the year, cornerbacks. They've been injured. They've got other guys hurt today. You got to take advantage of this.
On 2nd down, it's Harris again, and he's going to fall forward for 1.5. Nick Fairley tripped him up. John was talking about it. You know, the secondary. The Lions lost. The Packers going to run one quick here. There's a flag that flies. Rodgers going to let it fly. Down for Nelson, incomplete. The penalty happened immediately before, as the ball was being snapped.
It looks to be in the area. Maybe too many people. I think 4.
Did the Lions not get the sub off the field?
Yeah, I believe that's what happened.
It was thrown by the Lions sideline. Rodgers just took a shot there.
12 players were on the defense during the play. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
That's just Rodgers being smart, right, John?
Well, there they go with the quick snap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Help me out. Maybe someone running off the field. The quick snap got the Detroit Lions defense.
Yeah, it really stunk the telestrator. It only came up to 11. Yeah, that's kind of... Here you go, right there.
There's number 12. We got him.
Big 3rd down for Green Bay, a 3rd and 2.
You can run, but you can't hide.
Rodgers, pressure, and down he goes. George Johnson, the veteran, with the sack, and now a flag flies.
Boy, I think they're going to get a hold on Cisse, who was covering Jordy Nelson. But what a late flag it was, Kevin. Talk about a delayed reaction.
Aaron Rodgers was already on the ground when this flag flew.
Holding, number 39 defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
Huge call.
Here's Cisse. Just came off the practice squad. Go ahead, cover the league's leading receiver. And they get the hold right there. Jordy Nelson. But what got me is how late the flag is not out till very late in this whole process. And Ndamukong Suh and the Detroit Lions not happy.
Well, you'd have to sync it up. I mean, very clearly that was a hold on Jordy Nelson. And it probably happened before Rodgers was taken down. Huge penalty. It gives Green Bay a first down instead of punting it away. And Harris now dancing backwards. That ain't going to work. So Cisse coming in to make the tackle. I want to get back to your point, though, about the injuries. We'll look at the replay first.
Now you look at Mike McCarthy looking for the right combination at running back, but I'll tell you that east-west running is not going to make Mike McCarthy happy. He tried Lacy, he tried Starks. Now he's giving Harris a shot, trying to get something going. That kind of running won't make Mike McCarthy happy.
He's still in there. Rodgers, quick hitter in the air and completes. Well, I want to get back to the secondary, John. I mean, you look at what happened with the Lions secondary this week. They lost 2 corners this week that were put on IR. Bill Bentley, their leading nickel guy, and Nevin Lawson, the next guy up. He had to go as a starting safety. Carey just got hurt again today, and yet they're holding Green Bay's offense down.
You got to give those guys that are there credit, but also these guys up front. They're making life tough on Aaron Rodgers.
Got to get to the 42 for a first. Rodgers coming near side, incomplete. He threw it well short of the cut that Boykin made. And the Packers offense remains out of sync. They'll punt.
Yeah, they are out of sync. It looks disjointed, and that's what happens. I played behind a great defensive line in my career in Tampa Bay. It can do crazy things to even the best of the quarterbacks. When you get constant pressure on quarterbacks, they don't look so good anymore, and that's what's happened to Aaron Rodgers right now. They got to find an answer.
Jeremy Ross waiting back the punt of Mastay. Going to try and return it. Near side, Ross tiptoes out of bounds, but a good return as Jeremy Ross makes it up to the 25, and that's where the Lions will take over. Aaron Rodgers perplexed, but the Packers only down 5 in the third.
Today's game is sponsored by Visa Checkout, the easier way to pay online.
The Lions defensive line has played a great game today, and so has the Packers for that fact. Really, it's been a defensive battle all day long, and then the Lions will take over. The 1st and 10 on their own 25-yard line. Stafford, Calvin Johnson comes back to make the grab, and he's going to have out to the 34-yard line, a 9-yard gain.
The Green Bay Packers have done a tremendous job keeping the Detroit Lions out of the end zone for the most part. Detroit has had their opportunities to put Green Bay away, and Green Bay just won't go away.
Calvin Johnson today, 5 catches, 79 yards, but he's been relatively quiet. Packers have done a nice job there. 2nd and 2, and Bell taken down for a loss. Let's go down to the field with Pam Oliver. Pam.
Well, Kevin, 2 Packers defenders are currently in the locker room. Cornerback Devon House and linebacker Jamari Lattimore, who's filling in for Brad Jones, you recall, are both suffering from cramps. They are both listed as probable. Back to you.
Yeah, Lattimore is the 2nd man on the depth chart, so now bring in the 3rd man on the depth chart. Boy, oh boy.
You better have depth in this league. These 2 teams are certainly illustrating that here.
House is a good 3rd cornerback for Green Bay, number 31. So he's out in a 3rd and 3 for the Lions. Blitz coming. Stafford unloads way behind Calvin Johnson. Then we get a late flag. Tramon Williams was on the coverage.
He does get there early. He does get there early on Calvin Johnson. Reads the slant very well. It's going to be DPI on Tramon Williams in the Green
Pass
Bay
interference.
Packers.
Defense. Automatic. First down.
Well, on the last drive, the Lions gave the Packers a huge first down on a third down penalty, and now Tramon Williams returning the favor. That's the fourth penalty on Green Bay. Mike McCarthy wants an explanation, but it's a 1st and 10. Fake to Bush. Stafford near side. He's got Ross. Makes the catch at the 45 and tries to spin forward, but a short-handed tackle by Sam Shields. And it's a gain of 8.
Matthew Stafford doing a nice job spreading the football. Continues to hit different targets. Now they just got to get it in the end zone.
And that'll take us to the end of quarter number 3 from Ford Field. It's been all defense today. This Lions defensive line has been the difference. They're up by 5 after 3. 7. They've gotten 9 points from their defense on a fumble return touchdown and a safety. Both defenses have been the story here today. But it's the Lions up by 5 to start the 4th with the football. 2nd down and 3 on their own 44-yard line. They go quick hitter, and they get it to a 1st down, and that's going to be good. That'll move the chains. Calvin Johnson getting involved. Well, the Lions and Packers join the NFL in celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. From players to coaches to owners to fans, many Latinos have left a lasting legacy on the league. Hear their stories by visiting NFL.com/Hispanic Heritage. Join us celebrating the diversity of the NFL during Hispanic Heritage Month all season long. Lions move the chains. 1st and 10 for them. Clay Matthews out on this snap, and the give is to Reggie Bush. So he gets down to the 48-yard line. And Bush picks up 4 for A.J. Hawk. Made the stop.
You like this by Joe Lombardi, who's calling the plays, the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions. They're going to keep both safeties back in order to keep the double on Calvin Johnson. Well, then run the football. You're running against an advantageous defensive box for the Green Bay Packers. If they're going to keep safeties back, we're going to run it. You start pulling them up, we'll take it up top to Calvin.
Meanwhile, you saw 77 on the right side of your screen there. Cornelius Lucas, the rookie in at right tackle for Garrett Reynolds, who got beat by Peppers on that sack. Stafford slings it sidearm to Ross. Nice cut on the dig, and he works his way inside the 45. He's going to be 2 yards short of a 1st down. Stafford looking like Kent Jacolby on that throw.
He throws from some different angles now. It's an incredibly talented thrower of the football. He's been under a lot of pressure, and they can try different tackles, but he's been having to move around. And boy, what a talent to be able to flick the ball like that. Very nice catch by Ross in space.
Ken dropped down a little lower for the Pirates, by the way. He was a little lower than that. 3rd down and 1 for the Lions as we're under 13 minutes to play from Detroit. Bush is the back. Clay Matthews not on the field. Stafford over the middle. Good catch by Golden Tate, who's plowed down at the 35 by Williams, but he's got a Lion 1st down.
Well, Martin Mayhew knew he needed somebody that would draw attention opposite of Calvin Johnson, someone who could make a play in the 4th quarter when they needed it, and Golden Tate has shown himself to be that guy. Another clutch catch for Golden Tate.
They are working on Clay Matthews on the sideline. No, they're not. He's over there. He's not on the field yet, though. Thought I saw them working on him with binoculars, but not the case. But still over there. Not in the game, which is not good. There he is. Here's Bell. As George Bell shoulders down. Short gain, Nick Perry on the carry. Well, they've stayed with the run, that's for sure. Hasn't been fruitful at all times. They're only averaging 2.5 yards a carry, but they've tried to stay with it and get it going and keep the Packers honest. Told he may have been working. I mean, I'm not sure if they were working on equipment or a shoe or an ankle or something, but he's been so good today, not on the field this drive. Nice run. Theo Riddick on the carry. And it's going to be a 3rd and short.
That's good hard running by Theo Riddick. Kevin, you talked about the Lions sticking with the run, and it's starting to pay dividends. These holes are opening up. This offensive line starting to impose their will on this Green Bay Packers front, who's playing without their star Clay Matthews.
The line is doing the job. Cornelius Lucas, the rookie. That dude is 6'9". And he's in there this drive after Garrett Reynolds got beat by the sack. Meanwhile, Packers call a timeout here. It's their first of the half. 10:47 to play. The Lions 12-7 in front.
Today's game is sponsored by Subway Restaurants. Hurry in for the $5 footlong Italian BMT. Subway, eat fresh. By the agile all-new Audi Q3, stray the course. And by The Equalizer, in theaters September 26th.
Calvin Johnson getting worked on the ankle wrapped, and he is not back in there yet.
See his right ankle get caught underneath Tramon Williams. Here's a huge 3rd down for the Detroit Lions.
They need 2. They're going to give it to Bush. Sprinting towards the goal and more. Reggie Bush. Touchdown.
They've stuck with the run. We talked about those holes starting to be bigger. Micah Hyde loses contain. You got to show yourself and show yourself outside, particularly with someone with the speed of Reggie Bush. And Reggie Bush takes it and then hammers it in for the Lions touchdown.
Here's Freeze with the extra point. It's up and it's good. And the Lions get a touchdown run from Reggie Bush, his first of the season. And it's a biggie. It puts the Lions up 19-7. Plenty of time to go, though, for the Packers. 10:40 left from Detroit. Lions add to the lead. It's 19-7 with 10:40 to go. Reggie Bush with a 26-yard run. And think about this. Last week, the Lions rushed the ball 18 times. Today, it's been 27. Last week, Bush had 8 total touches, John. 8 the whole game. And we knew Joe Lombardi told us it's got to be more. He's got 11 rushes for 57 yards, and he's also got 6 catches. So it's been a huge difference. And a doinker off the goalpost. So Bush is pretty happy after his first touchdown run of the year. Lions up 19-7 in the 4th.
Game is sponsored by Visa Checkout, the easier way to pay online.
Well, they're going to re-kick here in Detroit, and to be honest, they say it's an offsides. We don't see it, though, John.
I don't either. I mean,
where?
The closest is right there, but he is not offsides. I don't get that call, but they're re-kicking nonetheless.
Well, it's pretty significant because instead of starting at the 20, you've got a guy in Harris who's got some speed returning the kick. That's a strange call. Try it again. This is still a booming kick. Harris is going to try it. Wayne Harris. Flags fly. And who knows, that may come back and be even more beneficial for Detroit when it's all said and done. So it could actually work out in their favor, believe it or not, if this is a hold.
Holding number 86 return team. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Well, they call it on 86, but Ryan Taylor, the backup tight end, if that's not a hold, I don't know what is. He tackles Corey Fuller.
So after all that, Packers are in a deep hole at their own 10. Let's keep in mind here, with 10:33 to go, they're only down 12, and this is a series that the Packers have dominated. They've won 20 of their last 24 against the Lions, so it's significant. Rodgers going to throw and going to complete to Adams, the rookie. And Adams gets out to the 18.5-yard line. He's going to pick up about 8.5. It's also, when you consider Aaron Rodgers in his career, is 9-1 against the Lions. The one game he lost, he got concussed and did not finish. And John, Aaron Rodgers is 13 of 22 for 116 yards with 10 minutes to go.
You don't see this, and it's been a masterful job by Terrell Austin, the defensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions. That group up front and a secondary that's banged up. They're playing without their middle linebacker. An incredible effort. Let's see if they can finish it.
Here's Lacy, and Eddie Lacy with a big hole. Skips across the 35, out to the 36.
You see no one in that middle of the field. Aaron Rodgers checks to that run, and Eddie Lacy has nothing but green grass ahead of him.
Eddie Lacy's been quiet. It was just his 9th carry for 37 yards. Gives Green Bay some room. Give it to him again. That time DeAndre Levy is there, but he'll get up to the 39. This is the domination, John, that I had mentioned. I mean, 9-1. It hasn't been a rivalry. It's been lopsided. But what they're doing today against him is so impressive.
No one on the Detroit Lions wanted to hear about that domination. We're a different team. We got a new head coach. The Green Bay Packers, to their credit, knew that as well. Detroit is clearly outplaying these Green Bay Packers today.
2nd and 7. Near side, Jordy Nelson turns it upfield. And Nelson's got a Packer first down. He is down at the 43. That being said, 8:46 to go is an awful lot of time for Rodgers to get hot.
And these double teams are coming from underneath. You see Kudus on Jordy Nelson coming from the underneath. So it's got to be the quick underneath passes and then allow Jordy Nelson to get the ball in his hands. That's where he becomes so dangerous.
5th catch for Nelson. He's got 59 yards after a 200-yard game last week. Rodgers has time over the middle. It's Corliss, the tight end. And just like that, the Packers, who started at their own 10, are down to the Detroit 25.
Remember, a team that showed all kinds of grit coming down from 18. Aaron Rodgers manipulates this defense with his eyes, comes back to the last second to Andrew Corliss.
And the hurry up now. Dumps it off. And Lacy still on his feet. He is going to be close to a first down. I believe they're going to say his knee was down to the 16th, so it'll be a gain of 9 and a 2nd and 1.
If you're Detroit and Terrell Austin, you have to stay aggressive. Do not let Aaron Rodgers get hot, because once he does, it's hard to cool him off.
Lacy going to jump outside, and that was a bad decision. He is eaten up by George Johnson. That's a 4-yard loss.
Look at, I feel right here, get north and south. Johnson does a great job showing his face outside, saying, come to me if you want. He's got Sue, he's got Fairley inside, he's got Mosley inside. I know it's tough sledding in there, but you got to put your head down and go, Eddie Lacy.
On 3rd down, time for Rodgers. Still looking, and he unloads, incomplete. DeAndre Levy was there again looking for the tight end, but Levy knocked it down, and now a 4th down.
Just good coverage down the field. Slay all over Jordy Nelson. DeAndre Levy, this is impressive. Tight end in space. Stays with them and then closes at the end. Gore, who just showed up on Wednesday, all over Randall Cobb. Impressive defense from the Detroit Lions.
And you got to go here, John, down 12. A field goal does nothing for you. Fourth and 5. Rodgers, incomplete. DeAndre Levy was there on the coverage for Jordy Nelson, and the Lions defense makes a stand. Packers went down the field, but denied on 4th, and Detroit football up by 12. First-year defensive coordinator Terrell Austin came over from the Ravens, and 3 games in, this is a shining moment so far today. as his defense has held this high-powered Packer offense to 7 points. And now it's the Lions who are up by 12 with 6:50 to go.
And this is just evidence that even guys like Aaron Rodgers have their tough days. Right there, he's looking at Jordy Nelson. He sees Jordy Nelson on a linebacker. He's got everything he wants. Aaron Rodgers behind Jordy Nelson. That's a walk-in touchdown for Jordy Nelson. And those guys have been unstoppable prior to today. You got to give Terrell Austin, this Detroit Lions defense, a ton of credit because they have Aaron Rodgers off his game.
They have. And a couple differences in this game. Obviously, Eddie Lacy's fumble on the first series that was returned for a touchdown was huge. The overruling of that interception by House that was put at the 1, not the 20, turned into a safety the next play. It's just been defensive football. But we said coming on the air, if the Lions want to be for real, if they want to be considered taking the next step, they have to prove they can beat this team who has won the NFC North the last 3 years.
And this probably isn't how you draw it up. You look at the turnover battle. The Lions have 3 turnovers. The Packers only have 1. But they found a way to really out-physical this team, out-execute this team. And I think just an incredible job when your secondary's hurt of keeping Aaron Rodgers, Jordy Nelson, and the rest of that Green Bay Packers offense in check.
Calvin Johnson in the game, bottom of your screen, on a 3rd and 7. Play clock at 2. Stafford sidearm, dangerous. And it works. They got a first down to Golden Tate.
And Kevin, that's why you bring Golden Tate in. You got Calvin Johnson. Remember, he's a little gimpy. So you put him out there for a little window dressing, attract everyone's eye that way. And then you go to Golden Tate. Joe Lombardi said you put him in the spring in shorts and T-shirt, not that impressive. You put him in tackle football with pads on, 11-on-11 football, he becomes a great player. And he's going to pay tremendous dividends for this team. To have someone that other teams need to focus on opposite of Calvin Johnson is a tremendous asset.
And now the Lions working on the clock. They bring Theo Riddick in the game at back. He'll get it. Nice little dance step for Riddick, who's out across the 35. Stafford's thrown a couple of picks today, but he's done enough to move this team on a couple of drives. Remember, he also had him in position for a field goal at the half, which was missed.
I think the one thing Stafford will come out of today, first of all, if they do bring home the win, he'll be thrilled about that. This hasn't happened much against the Green Bay Packers, but he also knows he's got to protect the football a little better. It's a fluke type deal that you're going to beat people with 3 turnovers in this league.
Meanwhile, Clay Matthews has been out. We told you, we showed you before, he's got a groin injury, we're told now. Questionable return. If he's not in there now, I highly doubt he's returning. He had played a good football game. The Lions just wearing down the clock. Packers with 2 timeouts left. They're down by 12. There's Clay. And this Lions team, which ran the ball 18 times and weren't effective against the Panthers, they're only averaging 3.4 yards a carry today, John, but they've run it 31 times and they've eaten up clock. That's the series. The 170th meeting today. And 3rd and 3, Reggie Bush in the game. It's Bush. He's got it first.
Kevin, you talked about this run game, and I think it's done a couple of things. Number one, it's kept Aaron Rodgers on the sideline, and that's how you keep a guy like that out of rhythm. The best way is keep him on the sideline. It's opened up the play-action passing game for Stafford. That's been a lot of their success. And Reggie Bush, we've seen a lot of east-west running, not from Reggie Bush. He's gone downhill and done it with great success today for the Detroit Lions.
Plenty of football left, of course, coming up. The Niners and the Cardinals. That's a big one in the West. Monday night, Jets and Bears tomorrow night. So a lot of football going on for you to watch. Joique Bell has it as the Lions trying to run this clock, and Bell running people over. It's Joique Bell, who went to Wayne State, local kid who used to be an usher, a security guard here at Ford Field. will do just that. Timeout called by Green Bay, their final one. 2:55 to go. Lions up 12. When you hold Green Bay to 7 points, you're doing something right, and that's what the Lions have done with 2:55 to go and Detroit's football.
And it starts with those guys right there. Nick Fairley and Ndamukong Suh, C.J. Mosley, the middle of that defensive front.
Bell. And we're looking at a third down, and that's the thing. Defense has done the job. They've held Aaron Rodgers to 162 yards, but John, we kept bringing it up in the second half. Why is Detroit running the ball? Time and possession. They've had the ball 14 more minutes than Green Bay right now, and just running clock on a 3rd and 4. Packers are out of timeout, so they can run it again and take it to the 2-minute warning.
And it all works together. I mean, I said it just a second ago. Keeping that guy on the sidelines, that's the best way to stop him. Now, look, they've kept him under duress, but he hadn't been on the field a whole lot. And that's a lot of it is due to this Detroit Lions imposing their will through the run game.
3rd down, they're going to run it. And Joy Bell should have a first down. And if he does, this game will be over. That'll take us to the 2-minute warning. We'll see where they put the football. It is a first down for the Lions. Packers has not been their day. 2 minutes to go from Detroit. It's the Lions 19, Green Bay 7. It may only be week 3, but I don't think I'm overstating it when I say this is a huge win for the Lions. Huge win. A team they couldn't beat, John.
Yeah, and they're going there. They got to go on the road late in the year. They got to go to Green Bay, and they don't have success down there. Absolutely. Look at, they overcame huge injuries too. Tulloch, the middle linebacker, they're down to their 6th, 7th, and 8th corners. Just a very big-time win against Aaron Rodgers, against a very explosive offense. And Nick Fairley and the guys deserve to be applauded for a heck of a game.
State Farm post-game coverage coming up in just a moment as the Lions are going to take a knee 2 more times, and we'll have some bonus coverage of the Eagles and the Redskins. That game is tied at 27 in Philadelphia, so you want to stay tuned for that. As Calvin Johnson all smiles as the Lions are going to get an impressive 19-7 win here today. DeAndre Levy had a safety today, played exceptionally well. 10 tackles for him. And then Reggie Bush with a big touchdown in the end. One more knee for Matt Stafford, and that should do it. And the Lions, waiting on the Bears game against the Jets tomorrow, will head into first place in the NFC North. Packers will fall to 1-2. They'll be at Chicago next week. And so will we. We've got a final score from Ford Field in Detroit. Big win for Jim Caldwell as the Lions take care of the Packers 19-7. The Lions defense up to the task today. We'll be back and wrap it up here from Ford Field and then get you some bonus coverage in just a moment. One more time, the Lions over the Packers 19-7. We're coming back in a moment.